welcome you all to Conference 2.8, where we'll explore the topic how to advertise effectively on a tight budget as an entrepreneur. We're honored to have a panel of accomplished CEOs, founders, co founders, entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and marketing and advertising experts as our guest speakers and panelists today. By the end of this conference, we hope you will gain valuable insights into this crucial area.
Hello everyone, I'm Anjali Singh, the head of strategic partnership at SK Associates and Group, and it's my pleasure to co-host this conference with Shravan.
So, before we dive into our topic for today, let me briefly introduce SK Associates and Group. We are an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under the MSMED Act 2006 with the Government of India. Our mission is to provide consulting services to student entrepreneurs globally, covering areas such as compliance, legal advisory, operations, marketing, research and development, strategy, and operations. Our passion lies in helping these budding entrepreneurs bring their dreams to life and contribute to global economic.
At SK Associates and Group, we take pride in offering tailor-made solutions to our clients. Our team of transformational consultants has a deep-rooted passion for entrepreneurship, and they bring extensive experience and expertise to every project. Over the past 3 years, we have built a network of 5,000 individuals from 30 plus countries, representing diverse universities, industries, and functional roles.
Our ultimate goal is to assist 600 million students across India by providing pro bono consulting services in areas such as business strategy, operations, analytics, human capital, compliance, legal advisory, audit, research and development, taxation, and marketing. We also plan to invest 500 crores US dollars in this startup by 2035, creating more than 5,000 plus employment opportunities for startup experts, advisors, mentors, and research scholars. Our vision is to contribute to global economic growth by empowering next generation of entrepreneurs.
Collaboration and strategic alliances are key to achieving our mission. We are committed to promoting entrepreneurship development and community impact with a focus on empowering students for global economic growth. Our aim is to partner with 1,000 plus universities and colleges by 2030, providing guidance and mentorship to students as they embark on their startup journeys.
The enthusiasm and interest we see among students today, Anjali, for entrepreneurship is truly inspiring. Startups have the potential to address critical social, economical, and geopolitical challenges through innovative business models. By promoting sustainable entrepreneurship, we can drive positive change and create a better future for all. Entrepreneurs not only generate job opportunities but also stimulate economic growth and offer innovative solutions to consumer needs, foster collaboration with other businesses, and many more. We have witnessed remarkable success stories where entrepreneurs have tackled issues such as climate change, waste management, education, stock market issues, multiple others.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurship is a catalyst for change and innovation. It's a powerful force that can reshape industries, transform lives, and make the world a better place. We are committed to supporting entrepreneurs on their journey, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed.
At SK Association Group, we are immensely grateful for the dedicated support of our executive management team and board, including Ms. Anjali Singh, Mr. Shri Singh, Ms. Vaishali Shri, Ms. Aditi Jain, Ms. Riddhi Bhanushali, and Ms. Nisha Parveen. The unwavering commitment has played a pivotal role in our growth and development. Thanks to the dedication, we can make a meaningful impact on the entrepreneurial ecosystem by inspiring, educating, and mentoring young individuals, encouraging them to pursue entrepreneurship instead of corporate career.
Now, before we dive into our discussions, let's take a moment to introduce our esteemed line of guest speakers and tap into the wealth of wisdom they bring to the table.
So, our first speaker for today is Mr. Puneet Bhatnagar, who is a leading creativity and innovation consultant, also a business mentor for early stage ventures as well as growing businesses. Puneet has a rich experience of more than 25 years and he regularly consults business owners and CXOs. He was a creative head at Start News, a member of the think tank that launched the news channel in India. And before that, Puneet was the creative director at Bates Asia Mumbai. His creative work is represented in the showcase of Indian advertising and has won international awards. As a media and advertising professional, he worked at senior positions, rubbed shoulders with the likes of James Murdoch, Big B, and many others. Steered many brands through tough marketing situations. His client list includes companies like Unilever, Nokia, Star Plus, Tata Salt, and many other known brands. He's a co-founder of Creative Activity Mission India, an initiative to promote creative thinking in the society. In this capacity, Puneet is leading a CP branding project for the ancient city of Ujjain and a community of more than 1.4 lakh members on social media. Some of Puneet's well-known campaigns are Star News पे आपको रखे आगे, टाटा नमक, देश का नमक, and कौन बनेगा करोड़पति, 9 बज गए थे.
Our second speaker today is Mr. Richard Chuppu. With a passion for helping businesses and individuals succeed in the ever changing world of technology, Mr. Richard is a DevOps engineer and computer engineering enthusiast who thrives on creating software, designing systems, and ensuring technology works seamlessly. Mr. Richard is just not a professional, he is a visionary who believes in pushing boundaries and striving for excellence in every endeavor. Currently, he is an integral part of the Fiat Match team, a fintech company in Canada, where he works remotely to craft eye catching graphics and designs that elevate the brand's presence to new heights. His journey includes a stint in IHS Towers, where he left an indelible mark in optimizing processes and harnessing a power of data analysis to enhance operational efficiency. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Richard wears the hat of a coach and mentor, extending his expertise to over 20 companies and 500 individuals worldwide. His focus on brand strategy and personal development has made him a sought after guide in navigating the complex realms of technology and business. In his free time, you'll find him playing guitar and enjoying a work life balance. He's excited about connecting with others who share his vision and values, looking for collaboration opportunities with forward thinking folks and agencies.
Our third speaker for today is Mr. Vikas Jain, an assistant professor in marketing with over 12 years of experience in academia, dedicated to providing an engaging and dynamic learning environment. Mr. Vikas has had the privilege of guiding and mentoring college students throughout his teaching journey. His commitment extends beyond the classroom, where he helps students develop a robust foundation in marketing concepts and strategies. By combining his expertise with innovative teaching methodologies, he fosters an interactive and enjoyable learning experience that inspires students to excel in the field of marketing. But he is not just a teacher. He is a thought leader with a keen interest in personal branding and digital marketing. Recognizing the importance of these skills in today's competitive landscape, he actively stays updated with the latest industry trends and strategies. Mr. Vikas firmly believes in the power of personal branding to help individuals stand out and make a lasting impact in their chosen field. Furthermore, his digital marketing expertise equips students with the practical knowledge and skills necessary to thrive in the digital age. At the core of his teaching philosophy is a commitment to nurturing a growth mindset amongst his students. He encourages them to dream big, believe in their abilities, and embrace continuous learning. By instilling an indomitable spirit within his students, Mr. Vikas aims to help them unlock their full potential and turn their aspiration into reality. Beyond the classroom, he is also actively engaged in R&D activities, ensuring that he enhances his own skills to contribute to the field of marketing education.
Our next speaker is Ms. Ridhima Barrett. She's an experienced content writer and voiceover artist who specializes in marketing real estate properties. She's also a dedicated social entrepreneur who focuses on uplifting communities through her work with NGOs, including Hamari Pehchan. She's a committed volunteer for the Muskurahat Foundation and Jack's Foundation, and she has contributed to their impactful initiatives. She's a proven campus ambassador for Vital Vision and a freelance transcriber for the Film Division of India, which demonstrates her versatility. She has demonstrated expertise as a social media and outreach manager for two Noida based ventures, where she has steered brand building and reputation management. She has also played a dynamic leadership role as a public relation and advertising head for Apriti Myra, where she has showcased her skills in strategic communication and promotion. She is a multifaceted professional who is passionate about leveraging skills in diverse settings to make a positive impact.
Welcome, everyone, and it's an honor to have you all with us. Your expertise adds a special dimension to our conference, making it a unique and insightful gathering. Our conference 2.8 is currently streaming live on YouTube. Once the conference concludes, you can access the recorded sessions there. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and explore previous conferences hosted by SK Association Group, and also stay updated for alerts for our upcoming conferences. Now, before we begin this conference, we would like to request all of you to switch on your respective webcams. We would also like to inform you all that the HR team will be conducting calls in the chat box throughout the conference, and we encourage you to participate actively in them. Moving ahead, I would like to invite our first speaker for today, Mr. Puneet Bhatnagar, to come and speak. and share his insights. Welcome, Puneet. You are muted, Puneet. If you could just unmute yourself. Sure.
Hi friends, I am Puneet Bhatnagar and I have done a lot of work with some big brands, worked on many multinational campaigns, but at the same time, I have done a lot of work with entrepreneurs, startups, and in a way, I bridge the gap between the two. And today, I'm going to share with you my lessons that I learned throughout this journey. I believe most of you at SK associates who are joining us today are students, and I would like to address some of the issues or some of the questions that might be in your mind. The topic for today is how to advertise on a tight budget, especially for entrepreneurs. Now, I would say once you say entrepreneur, the tight budget comes along with it. The truth is, even big brands and the big companies, they also have limited budget. No one has budget, uh, huge budget, because their markets are huge. Their budgets are also limited, but still they do a lot of advertising, and I would share some pinpointed tips with you. Number one, many times entrepreneurs make a mistake. They try to imitate or copy the big brands. They think if big brands are doing like this, they're communicating in this particular manner, and they succeeded, perhaps we should also take the same route. That's a big mistake, because big brands are there after so many years. If you really want to learn something, go to their history and see what they did in the beginning. That will be a very different kind of campaign for them. Another thing is big brands, even though I'm saying that they have limited budgets, they have limited budgets for their markets. But there is a fundamental difference. Big brands mostly eh, work in mass markets, while entrepreneurs, because of their limited budgets and resources, are generally, or rather, I would say, would never go into mass markets. They work in some limited geographical area or in some limited uh, domains, and that's the right way to do it. So number one, never copy a big brand. The reason is the big brands are already well known. They have an awareness in the marketplace, so they don't have to go and say who I am, which is the first part of any marketing communication. They don't have to tell the audience what they stand for. That is already taken care of, because they are existing for so many years and they have uh, so many consumers. People have experienced their brands and products. But when it comes to entrepreneurs, we don't have that luxury. Number one. So the most important thing for us entrepreneurs is to focus on a niche product. I would never talk about advertising without talking about a product or a brand, because first and foremost, the product should be created for certain target audience, because if it is solving their problems, then advertising will be much more effective. So it all starts with understanding your target audience. So first thing, as an entrepreneur, uh, you should do is to define your target audience very sharply. Don't go after everyone, but just pick and choose the target audience, which you can serve better, whether with your product or with your services. And when you define it well, also focus in terms of communication on one niche rather than everyone. And I will tell you the reason. When we talk to one niche, one target persona, we can relate to them better. We know their pain points, we know their challenges, and we know where are the gaps in the marketplace. Because, like I said in the beginning, even big brands, they can't serve everyone, they can't satisfy everyone. So there are gaps in the marketplace, and an entrepreneur should find out those gaps and should get into those niches and should start talking to them, those audiences, telling them, addressing their unmet needs. I think this is the first thing. So, like a nail, if it is sharp, you don't need a big hammer to put it into a wall or any surface. So, nail is your message. How sharply you have defined your target person and your message and solution to that particular niche. The hammer is your budget. If your product is sharp, well defined, your message is well defined and focused on particular niche, you won't need big budgets. On the other hand, if the nail is blunt, you will need a bigger hammer. And even then, it won't go in that surface. So all the even bigger companies, they all they all suffer when their target audience is not well defined, the market is not well defined. That is part one. Part two is be creative. Don't be clever. Please understand there is a difference between being creative and being clever. So let your uh, let your message be creative, say it in a fresh way, but don't try to be clever. And I will tell you why. Because our budgets are very limited. Our budgets are very limited. So don't try to be like, hey, let us do something like Fevicol, let us do something like Cadbury's. Our budgets are limited, and uh, so do advertising in a way where your message is conveyed to people even once. Even if you talk only once, they know who you are. They should know who you are, what you do, and why you are right for them. I think many entrepreneurs make that mistake, and especially the funded entrepreneurs. Once they get the funds, go they go all out. They try to do very uh, creative, wild advertising, which doesn't work for most of the entrepreneurs who have very limited budgets. Number three, in the beginning, entrepreneurs need credibility more than anything else. You need credibility. So put testimonials, case studies at the center of your campaigns. Because when everything is equal, why a consumer should not go to a well-known brand who they can trust? So uh, work on your testimonials, work on your case studies, and uh, and make sure that once you work your whole campaign around this, the customers know, oh, these people know my problem, which is not made by even big companies. So they start talking to you, they come to you. Number two, other big mistake is don't see advertising in isolation. Many people, many entrepreneurs make this mistake. They do advertising, but they don't have the back end ready. So if advertising is bringing leads to you, sales team trained? Are they ready to take all objection of the people who are coming to them? So work on a campaign which is not just an advertising campaign but also a sales campaign. I think this is something which is very important. And I always say big ideas don't need big budgets. They need small budgets because big idea is like a sharp message which the client is seeking for. And when they look to your product and your message, they want to come to you and say, "Hey, I want this product. I want this service." So work on your product, work on your message, create a big idea, simple idea. Don't be very clever, and I think that will help us do a lot of things. Other mistake that we have to avoid is we think our budgets are small, and many times entrepreneurs they compromise on the quality of message, production quality, the quality of images, the quality of videos. I would say that is very very important because people doesn't know that you are an entrepreneur. When you come on TV or you come in print or even in social media, uh, they are comparing you with everyone else. It's like going to a party, going to a party where everyone shows their best. Now, entrepreneurs would come and tell me, but Puni, we don't have budgets for expert communicators. We don't have budgets for designers, premium services. And and I can tell you that people in big agencies they also do freelance work. So you can't hire any expert full time, but they can always come and do work for you. Engage some of the best people on shared basis. They will work for you maybe say 30 minutes, 1 hour, uh, maybe on project basis. But hire them. They will not just come with uh, expertise in what they do. They will also come with a lot of insights that they learned. They will help you avoid many mistakes that as an entrepreneur you make. I think that is a fundamental thing that I wanted to share with you guys today. If there are any questions, I would like to take.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Puneet? You can write it in the chat box or raise your hands. Even the other speakers can ask the question if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have any.
yeah. Let us have a dialogue.
Shravan sir, you're speaking on mute if you're speaking something.
Yeah. Uh, I would like to ask you a few questions, Puni. As you have already
Yeah.
worked with big celebrities and brands, obviously everyone does start small.
Mm,
So, what is your message to those entrepreneurs who wish to promote their products
mm.
on a large scale via viral marketing, but unfortunately they have very low budgets,
Mm.
or in that sense, they do not have funds at all. They haven't raised any funds.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't run after those viral campaigns that we see everywhere because their objective. So what's important in any campaign is what's your objective. If the objective is to create awareness, then you go for those kind of viral things. If your objective is to convert people into sales, you need a different kind of approach. Number two, all of us have a community, a core community. So I would suggest work on relationship building first. First, you work on relationship building, work on creating communities, which help you spread your word. So, and then things will become viral because in any viral campaign also, in the beginning, you need a nucleus. You need a nucleus. You need certain energy in the beginning, and then it spreads out to unknown people, strangers. So first, create a community. Create a. So I would say the first thing that an entrepreneur should think about is creating customers who are evangelists. because in so many years, what I have seen is the word of mouth is the best advertising to start with. And if you have passionate customers and who are evangelists for your brand, you will succeed. That is the formula for success for any entrepreneur. And uh, that's that's what you can then make viral. When I say viral, I don't mean viral in the sense people know it, but I'm saying uh, more and more people will know about you. You will get better ROI. So like I say, uh, 1 रुपए का सिक्का गिरे तो 10 रुपए की आवाज होना चाहिए. Okay, but this will happen. This will happen when more and more people are engaged in your product and service first. Let me tell you, communication comes later on. And most entrepreneurs make this mistake. They think, I have a Me Too product. Most of them, they come with a Me Too product. And then you are a Me Too product. You are always a follower. So try to create like that nail, a uh, sharp place for yourself. Help your customer with some unmet needs. Once they get satisfied, they will tell other people who are like them. And I think that's what will. So don't go for mass virality. My thing is, big brands go for carpet bombing. Entrepreneurs need surgical strike. So you know your you know your product, you know your target audience, and then only focus on them. Be prominent in one particular domain, one particular geography, with one particular set of people uh, who should be extremely happy with you, and then they will bring you more and more clients from other domains, from other places. So surgical strike is my message to all you guys.
That's the actually the best thing that they could do, mouth to mouth marketing. That's perfect. Perfect. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so
Yeah. Anjali ji?
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Paneet, for the wonderful speech. Please share your email address in the chat box. And if any of our audience has any questions or seeks further
much.
information, please don't
Sure.
hesitate to reach out to him.
Yep, sure. I am ready to answer all questions. You can engage me with all kinds of ideas. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Puneet.
Yep.
Now, moving ahead, let's welcome Mr. Richard. Please commence the speech, Mr. Richard.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Anjali. Um, Thank you very much, previous speaker, Mr. Benito. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name correctly. I'm
Yeah, it's
Nigerian.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed your session. It's a pleasure to be here. Please, can I have a slide? Is it possible for me to share?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can share it from your end.
All right, I'll be presenting now. Okay. Okay, please confirm you can see it.
Sure.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So yeah. So my the particular area I'm going to be focusing on today will be based on my background in tech. I'm going to be focusing on how I'm sharing my story a bit on how I've been able to advertise on a very low budget using technology. I won't say technology, of course. Technology is all encompassing, right? It has to do with social media. It has to do with lots of tools that you can engage with without necessarily having to spend money, a lot of money. Yeah, I think one of the things left out when you were introducing me was that I'm actually a student. So for those of you that are students here, I'm going to be speaking to something you can relate with, right? You're going to be speaking with somebody you can relate with. I'm in my final year here in Nigeria, studying computer engineering in the university. So, and over the years, I've been able to do all that I've done so far while in school. So, of course, for a student has a very, very low budget, right? The majority of students aren't that big on cash. So, but that shouldn't be a limitation for you, but putting yourself out there and becoming an entrepreneur, right? So, I'm going to be sharing with us some strategies that have helped me so far as a student, of course, with a low budget, but I've been able to put myself out there as an entrepreneur. That's why I titled the topic Effective Low Budget Advertising Using Technology and Social Media. So, number one, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is for you to choose the right socials for your brand. So, over the years, I've been speaking on corporate branding. I've worked with companies for their corporate brands, I've worked with individuals for their personal brands. And one thing that I usually advise is that not all social media channels are for you, right? If you want to build a brand, you want to build a successful brand, there is difference between building a brand and building a business, right? A brand is basically an identity, something that people can relate with. Like it's like transforming your business into a personality. That's what a brand is basically. So when you want to build a brand, the major advantage of building a brand basically is that it gives your business that personality and trust. You know, it's just like we have friends, right? We all have friends, we have relatives and families that love us. So there is a reason why they love us. One is because we are connected, right? In terms of um blood relationship. Then the second is also because you have a personality they can relate with. Over the years, you have a brother or sister you've grown up with, and you've seen that the reason you've come to like them is not just because you were born together, right? But because you grew up with them and you got to know their personality, you know almost everything about them. So that bringing that same ideology now into a business as an entrepreneur is for you to build a successful brand. It means infusing personality, and not all social media channels are for you basically. For instance, I will give a practical example. For someone who wants to build a brand or a business as an entrepreneur, as a digital marketer, for instance, or let me use the one that we cannot relate with basically. Let me say graphics designer. A graphics designer who just started out, learned all the tools of graphics design, and you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start selling your services to people on the online space to get paid for your services. So for someone like that, you have to understand what is the market you are selling. For a graphics designer, what he or she sells is the product or the service called designs, right? And designs are digital products. So you don't expect someone who is a graphics designer to spend so much time speaking to people physically about their products. That's one angle to look at. But a better way to do that is because what you are doing has to do with visuals. The designs you are putting out there has to do with visuals. So what you do is you identify a particular platform that engages visuals. And what platform is that? If we all check the social media channels out there, is Instagram, right? So one of the easiest way for you to identify a particular social media that is for your brand is first of all identify how the social media works. Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, they all work in different ways. There are different algorithms that govern these platforms. So you have to understand that you the way this platform works differ. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is what platform is right for me to market myself as an entrepreneur, depending on what I want to be known for. I already established the fact that a brand is basically a personality, your business, what people know you for. So when you identify that, it becomes easy for you to advertise on that platform. And of course, if you have a low budget, it's even easier for you because you don't necessarily have to spend much because you are on the right platform. For someone who is on the wrong platform selling the right thing, you will definitely spend a lot of time, spend a lot of money, and you will not get the results that you require. I can tell you from experience, I started as a graphics designer, so that's why I use the example of a graphics designer. I remember then I was just focused on WhatsApp, focused on the contacts I had then on WhatsApp. I wasn't known on LinkedIn. I wasn't known on Instagram. I didn't have external platforms. But when I began to identify that, oh, the people that really need these my services are not just my WhatsApp contacts. So it was easier for me to build on a separate platform and get known on that particular platform. So you have to understand this. Choosing the right social media for your brand is very, very important. And the next thing I'm going to be talking about is for you to optimize your LinkedIn. I cannot have this session talking about how important LinkedIn is. For someone who is an entrepreneur, of course, the major aim of an entrepreneur is to make money, right? And to make sales. So if you are not making sales, then you are not an entrepreneur. And one of the easiest ways to take your market to a global space is through LinkedIn. I can tell you for a fact that I've been on LinkedIn for just a year and few months, and I've been able to attract leads without any single form of advertisement, right? So I've never spent any money on ads on LinkedIn. But what do? I utilize organic reach. That's the next thing I'm going to be talking about is organic reach, right? Leveraging on organic content. So one powerful thing about LinkedIn is this. LinkedIn LinkedIn has a way of recommending your content to more people depending on the quality of what you post. So let's say you are let me give a practical instance. You are an educator, you are someone who coaches people online, you coach people on, let me say, a topic like health, right? You are a health coach, or you are a book writer, or something, most of the things a lot of people do on the online space. And you want to build a brand on LinkedIn, you don't want to spend money, you don't want to spend money on advertising. One of the things you can do to leverage on the organic content. What is organic content? For those of you that may be asking, organic content is basically you creating reach without spending money on advertisement. So, for instance, you make a post and 100,000 people see that post. That is organic content without running ads. And I can tell you for a fact that LinkedIn has that organic reach. But the problem is that sometimes there are some strategies that we need to utilize in order to get that organic reach. I At the first time I had a post that I can say the post went viral. I was barely 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. So for some of us might think that it's about the following. No, it's not necessarily about how many people are following you. It's about the quality of your content. The quality. If you're into it, you're an entrepreneur, you definitely have to create content about what you do. So people should know that this is what you are doing, and they should be able to relate with this thing in order to trust your brand and pay you money for your services or your products. So you have to understand that I was sharing a story, right? That the first time I had a content that I could say went viral, I was barely 1,000 followers on LinkedIn. I think I was about 800 and something followers, if I still remember precisely. So I made a post, and the post was, I still remember the title of the post. It was a carousel, like a slide. The post was on reasons five reasons, 5 ways for you to have a strong personal brand. I was into branding, teaching personal branding and corporate branding then. I coach people online. So the post was about 5 ways to build a strong personal brand. And in 24 hours, that single post had 343,000 people see that post. I was shocked to the bones. I didn't have up to 1,000 followers. But what I did was that I began to study that post to identify what exactly made it go viral. I discovered that people are more engaged in what they can relate with. So the post was in such a way that I was sharing a story, but at the same time, I was communicating the fact that through that story, this is how you can have a good personal brand. And a lot of people liked the post, a lot of people engaged on the post, and not just the engagement. That was the first time I actually got a job on LinkedIn without submitting a resume or a CV. So someone reached out to me via DM and say, "Hey, I have this group of persons, I have this company that we're struggling to actually get position in the online space. Can you help us do this? Can you help us do that?" Just because of a single post. So what that helped me to do is that it positioned me as a thought leader in my space. So the best way to build an effective brand with low budget as an entrepreneur is when you position yourself effectively as a thought leader through organic content, right? So the next one I'm going to be talking about is advertising on a tight budget, right? Now this is when you want to spend money. Now, how many of us have been in that situation where we ran Facebook ads, we ran Instagram ads, we blew up all our cash, and it seems like we didn't get the results we wanted? If you have been in that situation, just give a reaction. So I've been there also. So you have to understand that it's beyond just putting in your money to make an advert. There are a lot of things you have to analyze when creating an advert. So that's what will differentiate you from someone who has a tight budget or someone who has lots of money to spend. The difference, like the previous speaker said, is not necessarily about the amount of money. Of course, big brands themselves, they are not spending, they don't have a lot of money to spend. Everybody wants to minimize costs. So you have to understand three things. Number one is precise targeting. When you are making an ad, you have to understand the particular people that that ad is meant for. Like I already explained, I established your brand, what you are selling is not for every single person. If I ask you, probably you are a creative director, you coach people in the online space. I ask you, who and who do you coach? Who are the people that you coach? Can you give me precisely three group of persons or three personas that are your target audience? These are things you have to know, because while creating that advert, you have a section for you to position your target audience. So if you don't know the people who you are meant to sell to, you will not be able to attract those people. Then number two is you have to set a realistic budget. Of course, you're already on a tight budget, so you don't have a lot of money to spend. So set it in such a way that you set a budget that you can monitor as time goes on, right? So if I create an ad of like $20 today, I monitor the performance of that ad before putting in more money. If I see that the ad is getting to the right audience, which is number one I've already shared, I now know, okay, how do I, in terms of probably stopping the ad before it even gets to $20 or adding more money to my budget. So that will help you when you're advertising on a tight budget. So one more thing before I round off, I would like to take a quote from Henderson Breed. It says, doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you are doing, but nobody else does, right? So this is very, very important. I usually tell people that you can have all the skills in the world, you can be so skillful, but you're broke because nobody knows you. And that's due to poor advertising and marketing, right? Then I end with this. Remember, the key to success in advertising on a tight budget is to be strategic. Focus on building relationships. This will also help you a lot. I can tell you for a fact that I've gotten lots of opportunities from just relationships on the online space. I didn't spend any money building, I didn't spend any money running ads. And also, you leverage the available tools and features of the platform to maximize your impact, like I already shared. So, thank you very much. And I can take questions now.
Yeah, Richard, I had a question for you firstly. Like, being from Nigeria, how would your perception be on digital marketing and mass marketing? Like, what would you advise for an entrepreneur? The usual digital mode of marketing or mass marketing for brand recognition?
Okay, I would say it depends on what you are selling again. Different things work for different people, right? For someone who sells bags, physical products like bags, if you want, the way you sell physically should not be the same way you sell on the online space, right? That's digital marketing. For someone who has a physical store where you sell bags, of course, you know that your store has to be positioned in such a way that they can attract the right people. For instance, the reason why people spend a budget of about $5,000 to buy a Louis Vuitton bag that they can buy from someone on the way on the roadside is not necessarily because they want to spend so much money. It's branding, right? So you have to understand that if you're selling a physical product, the kind of product actually determines the strategy that you apply. So if you have a product you want to take to the digital space, like I already explained, find out the kind of the right social media channel for you to advertise on and the right tools to use to advertise that product. So for instance, a person who's selling a bag will definitely need to take good pictures of that product for it to sell. And you post such pictures on Instagram. Of course, high quality pictures will help you sell your product faster. And of course, like I explained, you don't necessarily have to put in much money in terms of advertising, especially when you're just starting out. So that's it.
That's great, Richard. I would like to invite all participants to put forth the questions, if any. Participants, any questions? You may simply unmute yourself and put forward your questions. Okay. Lakshita, Paritosh, Anupam, no questions out there? Anvesh, Yakansh. Okay, fine then. I would like to request you, Mr. Richard, if you could just share your email ID in the chat box so that if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to you personally.
All right, sure, I'll do that.
Sure. It was a pleasure talking to you, Richard. Thank you for your contributions. Okay, so moving ahead, I would like to invite Miss Riddhima to share her insights and comments her speech. Sure.
Hi, Mr. Shravan and Miss Anjali. Thank you so much for having me here. So, first of all, I would like to give an insight again about myself. So, I am a third year student, and I strive to deliver exceptional and results that drive brand awareness and engagement. With few years of experience in the field of public relations and brand building, and I'm still learning. I think I'm still a student. So just like a lot of people here who are joining the conference, and one thing that I should say that my journey has just started. So I am learning things which are somewhere relevant according to this particular arena. Okay, so uh, I'm getting distracted because of this music which is being played, I think. Yeah, thank you. So I started my journey in 2020, and as a even I was hired in a very small budget. I was paid nothing in start, and there I actually understood that in a small budget, how can I actually advertise that particular budget, that particular product which I have. I did not had any product as such because I was working with an NGO. So I had an NGO, a whole NGO to advertise and build its reputation as a brand. So number one thing which I kept in my mind is uh, making it sound relatable and targeting a problem, an issue with the society or with a person, for example. And so social media marketing plays a very crucial role in today's time, I think, when it comes to a small budget advertisement. And content marketing or content writing, yes, absolutely, yes. You should work on your content if you're an entrepreneur, making it short and looking for a hook if you are selling a product. For example, right now, I am working on for example, on a real estate property. So, that looking for a hook because of which, I can attract a lot of people, especially my target audience. It's a bang on. I think people should work on it and making it a high quality content. Yes, it actually helps. And I would like to give an example of a brand, Sugar Cosmetics. It's a brand of cosmetics. And if you trace down their advertisement history or marketing history, they've used influencers. Initially, not the ones which were high-end influencers, but yes, influencers marketing is a strategy, advertising strategy, which actually helps a lot in advertising your product in a tight and small budget. Moving on, uh, one can actually helps with this DIY DIY things which is going on in the the recent arena. People actually take their products and hire influencers to to uh, produce some DIY videos and stuff to actually reach the audience with the uses, the innovative uses which they can have, like niche hair. We It was also featured in Shark Tank, and the entrepreneur made these nice wigs. And initially, if you trace down her advertising history, she used to make videos on Instagram of using those hair in a very different and innovative ways. So she did not spend any high budget expenses as such. And number one. Second, she used her own creativity to advertise the product she was using, and she was manufacturing. So yeah, these things actually helps. And there are a lot of things like email marketing, and you can use local this thing, your local partnerships, and also putting up stalls and put pop-up shows of your this uh, pop-up shows of your product. So yeah, and one more thing I would like to add is if you're an entrepreneur and you want to, you know, make your product reach.
Riddhima, you're not audible. If you could just check out network.
Am I audible now? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you want your product to reach maximum audience, then you have to sound relatable, and you have to understand the issue and why, why do that person needs your product. You have to actually, highlight that particular issue to the target audience you are targeting to. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Dhamal. Do we have any questions for her? You can raise your hand, write it in the chat box.
I had a question for Ridhima, if you do not mind it. At such a young age, what actually made you so passionate to try out the industry? Like most of the students and youth we see around us are just engaged into their personal lives and do not think much of the future. So, what
Yeah.
actually inspired you to come up with like such expertise in the industry?
Yes, right, right. Actually, Mr. Shravan, uh, something which fascinates me is, being an entrepreneur. So, maybe you can say that, I personally want to be an entrepreneur someday. So I'm just trying to, grab all the skills, because advertising your product or anything, be it, it can be anything. It can be a real estate property. It can be, an NGO, as, because I've worked for an NGO for a long time. And so taking a product and putting it in front of the public and in front of the audience is an art. It's a skill itself. So if you know that skill, then I really don't think that you need anything else to basically, uh, sell your product, or be famous someday.
That's the point, Riddhima.
Yeah,
And by the
thank
way,
you.
Riddhima, as I have heard multiple entrepreneurs and CEOs speaking this quote multiple times, freelancing is the first step to entrepreneurship. How would you like to explain it as a freelancer yourself? Since I see that you
Yeah,
have content
right.
created.
So, as a freelancer myself, I get opportunities to work with a lot of people, with a lot of ventures, local ventures where I live, basically. So you get experience at some other level, because you're not working there, for long hours, and it's not a 9 to 5 job as such. So you're working because you want to give your skills, and you give a part of your skills to that particular product or a venture. So experience is there, and you do not get bored, because in my generation it's really difficult to keep at one place and work daily at just 9 to 5 job हो रहा है रोज यही तो वो difficult है बहुत ज्यादा. So freelancing is, it actually keeps you very very entertained, and uh, helps you to be there, actually be there with your skills. So yeah, as a freelancer, I think definitely, if one can join multiple ventures, and one can actually be as an entrepreneurship in a team, so it can be a great thing.
That's actually great to see just like you coming up with Riddhima. But
Thank
a
you.
last question from you, if you do
Yeah,
not mind
sure, sure,
explaining.
sure, sure.
uh, as a youth yourself, you might have seen that barely 5 out of 50 students in a classroom actually opt for entrepreneurship. Most of them do go for corporate jobs.
Right.
And as we say, freelancing and entrepreneurship is quite difficult as getting clients is the most challenging. How would
Absolutely.
you like to classify this part to our aspiring entrepreneurs sitting out here?
Getting clients as an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think you don't have to be desperate to get clients. Then what people do usually, like in my age, they start, जैसे झपट्टा मार के ले लेना, ऐसे नहीं. This is not how things will work actually. You have to be very patient, and you have to work on the quality first. That if I'm selling, for example, an artificial flower, okay, is it, competitive enough to compete with the market, which is, in which I'm prevailing, or not? Because product में कुछ है नहीं, and then you trying to sell it, then it won't work at the end. So you have to make sure that your product which you're selling is up to the mark or not. Second, uh, the content which you will be writing to, advertise, it should be short and concise. Because in today's world, nobody has it so much of time to actually read all the, biography and descriptions about the product. People want to get straight to the point, and also get to, the thing that is this product will be solving my problem or not. So they want to have a hook, as well as it should be so short, concise, and relatable. So for being relatable, yes, you can use voiceovers as well if you have someone who can sound really friendly, nice, and comforting, and who has a clear speech. Yes, voiceovers in your whole creative can actually elevate the whole quality of your advertisement.
That's actually great, Hriday.
Thank
See,
you.
thank you. Okay, Anjali ji, you may proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Rudhama, for the wonderful speech. Please share your email address in the chat box. If any of our audience would like to reach out to you, they can get back to you by the email address. Now, I'd like to invite Mr. Vikas and request him to commence his speech.
Thank you, Anjali. Thanks for having me. First of all, thanks SK Associates and the group. It has been wonderful listening Puneet, Richard, and Ridhima. I think almost everything has been covered. Still, I'll try to put my opinions that how to advertise and why you should spend money on advertising. And when I say why one should spend money on advertising, uh, because advertising gives you that one chance to make that first impression among the audience, and it is very wisely said, you will never get a second chance to make a first impression. So what advertising is all about, why do you need advertising? uh, we have already understood, the earlier speakers, they explained it so well. I would tell what advertising is not about. Advertising is not about using fancy communication or certain tricks for your offerings, what you're offering to consumers. You need to learn that art which involves genuinely communicating the value of your products and services to the consumers. That what are you offering to your consumers? What are the true benefit that matters to the customers or consumer or people who are using your products and services? How advertising has evolved in past. uh, I have a few things to say on this. Entertaining to irritating. Being a kid, I used to enjoy advertisements. When I used to see advertisements of my kind, or something very humorous, or products that I really like a chocolate advertisements used to entertain me. But these days, when we are living in a very different world, in a digital world, we have options to block our advertisements. Watching a video on YouTube, you can skip an advertisement after 5 seconds. But yes, this option was not there when you, if we go 5 to 10 years back, when we used to watch advertisements on national television. We have only one option and we can change the channel. So we start shuffling the channels when we used to see advertisements on different channels, or if we are watching a particular daily soap. And even there were strategies to eliminate this. There is this small technique called road blocking or traffic blocking on television, where they used to hire all these time slots, or they and they advertise on the same time on same channels. I still remember an advertisement of Abhishek Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai. They were advertising for Lux soap, and it was at the prime time, and the same advertisement was running at a very same time on Z Star Plus, Colors, and Sony, 4 5 big channels. and they used to have the most of the TRPs at that point of time. So it has evolved like this, but now advertisement is very different. We have certain digital method. The social media plays a very big role these days in advertising, but we cannot ignore the role of traditional channels also. Still, when we say that how to advertise effectively on a very tight budget as an entrepreneur, obviously digital channels gives you this edge that you can advertise on a very small budget. When you use a WhatsApp, business WhatsApp, and you are posting something, it says that do you want to boost your post. Posting something on your Facebook page, they ask you to boost your post, and you can boost your post in 100 rupees per day. WhatsApp says 82 rupees per day. Obviously it is easy to advertise, but the thing is, uh, when you are living in a country like India, there are certain areas where mobile connectivity, internet is still an option. So we cannot say that traditional methods are not in use, or we can say that we can fully dependent on digital methods. So still we can use promotional channels like personal selling, or we can depend on media channels. And if you can create some really good advertisements or for national television, then obviously that again, it's bit costly. But if you can allocate a budget for your advertisements, it can definitely give you some big return. uh, I was reading somewhere that advertisements influence 90% of consumers to make a purchase. So advertisements are important, and 87% of small businesses these days advertise in some form. It is very important, and the main goal to advertise is to create a brand, improve the brand awareness, and so that you get a good number of footfalls on your websites or the channels on where you are advertising. So small businesses do use, but the best part is these channels, these social media channels, or the channels that we are using digitally, they give you an additional advantage that you can get the analytics of your advertisements. So advertising on Facebook and paying 100 rupees per day, you get all the statistics. Also, I would like to share that on when you are advertising on Facebook, it gives you an opportunity that there is a A/B testing method is there. You can use A/B testing, where there is you get to know about the conversion. You get to know about the conversion, how many individuals watch or watching your advertisements. Like they divide your advertisement in two different parts, uh, variation A and variation B, and then they tell that from variation A you get much conversion rate, and from variation B you get this much conversion rate. And you get to know each and every measurements, how many watchers were there, what was the conversion rate, how your content was effective or not, how many views were there, how much was the time, or what was the age group which was watching your advertisements. So through going all through this, I would also suggest certain tips. Like my fellow speaker said that these are the tips. Richard came with such a beautiful presentation. So, few tips to allocate an advertising budget for small businesses can be: don't rush into it. I would suggest don't rush into it. Okay, I have to advertise at any cost. First, you need to consider your other expenses also. So, try to consider your other expenses also, and try to understand whether you want to advertise or not, whether there is a requirement of advertisement or not. I'll give you a very small example. I think someone is on unmute. Okay. So I was sharing in a small example. There is this one shop in nearby sector which sells some Ayurvedic medicines. And in our city, everyone knows that if you want to get these Ayurvedic medicines, you can visit this particular store and you will get almost every single Ayurvedic medicine from there. And I have never seen, I am 36 and I have never seen an advertisement in last 36 years for that particular store. So I would again suggest, don't rush into it. If you are enjoying some sort of monopoly, if you are enjoying some sort of advantage that people knows about your store, people knows about your product, then consider other expenses. Try to deviate your expenses on other things that might generate you some more results. Then focus on results also. You need to understand which tool you are using, where you want to advertise, how much time you need to devote on those advertisements, so that you get to understand what results would be there. Because no business want to run without profit. So you need to understand, you need to explore all the tools, you need to understand what results would be there if you are putting some amount of money on advertising. Then also try to keep an eye on your competition also. Obviously you need to keep an eye on your competition, what your competitors are doing. If you are in a monopoly state, then obviously you would enjoy, but it is very rare to see. There is so much competition. You have multinational brands around you, local brands around you, and in a country like India, when you have such a big marketplace, there are competitor brands. So you need to see how they are competing, how competitive they are, what are their USPs, how they are advertising, how they are reaching to their consumers, what kind of strategies they are using. Also, what one thing you can do is, if you have some sort of budget for you, then you can investigate some outsourcing options also. If you can investigate different outsourcing options, then why to take all this headache? Try to outsource it. Like Ridhima said, there is a very big scope. If you are depending on certain influencers or bloggers who write about your product, or who can influence, or who have a good following on certain Instagram channels, then why not to outsource your products and services promotion to them. And last step, I would say, test your strategies. Like I said, in Facebook there is an option, A/B testing. Do that testing. You get to know about which is having a better conversion rate, and go for that. And obviously these possibilities are only there when you are using social media platforms or digital tools. These possibilities were not there when we were using traditional methods. But again, I would say, printing an advertisement in a local newspaper again is a good option. So you need to explore your tools, you need to focus on the results, that on from which method I'll get the result. So it is not necessary that having an advertisement on YouTube or having a Google ad is a very good idea, because again there is an option to skip those advertisements. But if you have a good amount of money, then, and if you can pay for it, try to keep a budget. And if you can run a national advertisement, just imagine an advertisement between India Pakistan match, what kind of revenue it might generate. But again, that would not be so wise and possible for small businesses. But I would suggest it's not really necessary to rush into the advertisements just for the sake, because everyone is doing it. And last thing, to conclude, obviously, when we talk about digital platforms or latest platforms, content is your king, but context is your queen. So you need to understand in what context you are advertising and what content you are using. So that's it. I'm open for the questions now. Thank you.
So, Vikas, I had actually my first interesting question for you. Since you
Yeah,
are a
sure.
professor,
Yeah.
uh, obviously, how many students do you like teach in a batch on average?
So we have 60 to 70 of strength in our different sections. We have a 200 of intake in our MBA. So we have three
Okay,
sections. So 60
that's
to
good.
70 students.
So, out of these 60 to 70 students, how many do you see inclining towards entrepreneurship?
More than 50%, more than 50% are inclined toward entrepreneurs. and rest of the 50. So the ratio is always about 60/40. Sometimes 40 are into entrepreneurs, sometimes 60 are into jobs. But even who are willing to go for jobs, they have this vision that after 3-4 years of job we will be doing something of our own only.
And that's great. That's great because I haven't heard of optimistic ratio as this before. That's really great. So, as far as our topic goes for today, Mr. Nan,
Yeah.
advertising on a tight budget, as you just gave an example of advertisement between the India-Pakistan match, that would be a mass media form of advertising. So, what do we advertise for, like advice for entrepreneurs who wish to advertise using social media, but unfortunately do not know how the hashtag systems exactly work?
See, these days, even India-Pakistan match telecasting on Hotstar made easy to advertise during the match, and you can put your advertisements through these OTT platforms that made this easy. Earlier, you need to get into the you even don't know how to reach to those advertisements, how to reach that particular channel. But now simply drop a email, or there are options on Hotstar where you can ask for the quotations, and they might tell you that okay, if you want to advertise at this point of time, this would be the rate. Earlier it was pretty difficult. You need to go onto the BARC website, and then you need to check which particular channel is offering what kind of price at what point at prime time. It is very costly. So obviously it the mass media, when you're using mass media, like I said, it is bit costly. Social media platforms, digital platforms made it easy, made it cheap. But I would again say, don't rush into it. It's not always necessary. Just understand your product, just understand your service, whether you really want advertisement or not. It's obviously you might be a champion in your league or in your product, so why not to go for sales promotion if you are already there? You need to understand, why not to go for personal selling.
Exactly, that's the point to be considered. Okay. Further, I would like to invite all the participants to put forth the question to Vikas, if any. You may simply unmute yourself and ask your questions.
We have a question from Anupam. If you could just take a look at the chat box.
Yeah, is word of mouth strategy also plays an important role in this digital era? How much it impacts? I think these days even word of thumb strategy plays a very important role rather than word of mouth, because we use more of chatting rather than speaking. But obviously both are very important. Uh, if you remember the song why this colaveri, the colaveri D, how popular it got when it was dropped on YouTube. And these days a simple message on WhatsApp can create a buzz around. Okay, why not to use this particular service? Let's use this. And organizations are using this strategy very well. They give Paytm starts giving 50 rupees on a particular transaction, and very next moment everyone is sending it to their friends. Okay, send me this much amount, you will get 50 rupees. Send me this much amount, you will get this particular amount. And this is how viral marketing goes these days. Word of mouth and word of thumb plays a very important role. What is your advice to newbies in entrepreneurship who hail from different backgrounds other than marketing or management? So my advice is just do a SWOT analysis, do a SWOT analysis, do an introspection, whether, like I said, whether your brand really needs advertising in the beginning, or your brand needs some other strategies to work on. Advertising is important. Advantages in the area where you're operating. is your service, your product or service, or your advertisements are literally serving the cause, or you're making certain fancy advertisements, like these advertisements are only there to create an impression, but when consumers are literally using your products, they are not getting what has been promised. So create content accordingly. Content is, I always give this advice to even my students also, that you need to work on your content. If your content is really good and if your content is aligned with your context, then definitely your advertisement or your product would work.
Okay, any other questions, audience? No questions out there? Okay then, no issues. Thank you, Mr. Vikas, for your wonderful speech, and please do
Thank
share your email address in the chat box so that if
Yeah,
any of
sure.
our audience has any questions or seeks further info.
Yeah, I think Puneet sir wants to say something.
Okay, sure, sure. Please do not hesitate to reach out to Mr. Singh via the email
Sorry to
address.
interrupt, Shravan. I think Paneet sir wanted to ask a question to Mr. Vikas.
Okay, sure.
Not a question, but I want to chip in here, and because we are talking about an ad in India Pakistan match, perhaps, and that's a very very expensive thing. But entrepreneurs, they always think very creatively and they always find a way out. For example, I will share one strategy which is often used by entrepreneurs. Not everybody knows about it, and that is, you when you have a friendship, a relationship with some media planner or media buyer, okay, who works very closely with all these channels. So, like, because rightly said, people don't know. Entrepreneurs don't really know where to go, how to get things publicized there, but have relationship with some media buyer. And then what happens? Many times, people, uh, big brands, they cancel their spot at the 11th hour, and that spot is available. So many entrepreneurs, they go and they buy such kind of spots for fraction of the cost. For example, for 10% of the cost, you can get your ad being run on that national channel. It's possible. It's possible, and it helps a lot because people doesn't know that you have run it for a fraction of the cost. You don't know whether it will run or it won't run. But if there is a tiny chance, you will get your ad on the national channel, and that adds a lot to the credibility. Again, I'm talking about credibility because then you start uh, maximizing it. Like I said, एक रुपया गिरेगा तो 10 रुपए की आवाज कैसे होनी चाहिए? एक बार वो एड आया है 10 सेकंड का 20 सेकंड का, but then you put it on your website. Your salespeople go out and say, "Look, we are on the national channel." So I think entrepreneurs should always think how they can maximize the ROI from whatever they are investing. And because he rightly said, advertising is important. Let us not. Uh, so what I would say is, we covered a lot of things today. I wish to congratulate Rizima at such an early stage. She is already working now, and to all students, I would like to add something. Do some freelancing, do internship. That will help you so much well, even if you want to go for a job or you want to become an entrepreneur. It will add a lot to your resume. And so I think it was a very stimulating uh, session. And so, but I would like to put one thing here. Some of us talk about social media, some of us talk about freelancing, because they spoke about why brand should advertise. Richard also talked about advertising being necessary. Uh, the old thing we always say, like winking in the dark. I would say it's very important when we talk about advertising, what kind of business we are in. Are we talking about solopreneurship? That will need a very different kind of tool set. Are we talking about B2B marketing? They will need a very different thing. So I'm saying many entrepreneurs make a mistake where they don't have a website or a very unprofessional website. And when leads come, you advertise, people go look at your website and then they say, okay, I don't want to work with this guy. I'm saying so, and at the same time, then there are entrepreneurs who want to be big, and so they have to then start investing very wisely. So I think thank you to you guys for organizing such a great event, and to, and I would say thank you to all my fellow partners who are here speaking to you guys. I
Thank
would
you, sir.
like, and and I think we should all uh, connect with each other on
Sure,
social
sure.
media.
Sure.
Thank you
So,
so
as
much.
we conclude tonight's session, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed panelists for their invaluable contribution to the first session of Conference 2.0. Your expertise and insights have actually added immense value to this event and have enriched our knowledge. A sincere appreciation also goes out to each and every attendee for active participation. Obviously, a 1.5 hours of consistent session can sometimes be boring, but we do appreciate your focus and your attention and dedication to learning something new. We value your presence and engagement a lot. We're excited to continue this conference tomorrow with the second session, and we do look forward to see you all there. Till then, feel free to share your conference experiences by leaving a review on our Google Maps location. You can simply Google us out, SK Association Group, and the same will arrive with you. We also encourage you to extend the invitation to your friends to join the conference. Do share the conference links with them, and if you're sharing your experience on LinkedIn, do not forget to tag us. Your engagement, inviting friends, and sharing your insights are highly appreciated. Thank you once again, everyone, for being a part of this event. Goodbye, and have a great day. And obviously, do keep dreaming and building your dreams.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.